Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And before we fully dive on in, I just want to hope that everybody's having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there. And with that being said, let's dive on in. So going back to May of this year, we've seen Ripple demonstrating tokenization within the EHKD pilot program with, of course, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, utilizing this new CBDC platform that, of course, Ripple launched. Now, this was very significant at the time, and the reason why I'm bringing this back up is obviously because we've started to see a big shift happening around crypto and around the real world application space. One of the biggest things that we have started to see on the overall regulatory side of things is we're seeing these major institutions now planning, and their overall outlook is roughly around the end of 2025. They already said that in 2023 they were building. In 2024, they're going to start to run trials and start to utilize a lot of the things that they've been building. And then, of course, by 2025, we will have regulations in place for them to actually go fully live with a lot of these things that they've been building. Now, what are those things that they've been building? Well, it's things like this, where, you have tokenization as a service, you have custody as a service. Like, this is all going to be expanded upon. So what we're going to start to see is payments, settlement layers, things like that. And we're already starting to see these things become a reality, and they're already tapping into Ripple as well. We just recently talked about how Ripple has an all-in-one umbrella package, essentially, where it's allowing them to target pretty much any major institution that wants to tap into digital assets, blockchain, and DLT. But outside of this, the reason why I'm bringing this back up is because we just recently seen a big announcement regarding, of course, Cody Lab, and this is a pretty big one. So, unlocking the future, Cody Lab joined forces with Ripple and Fubon Bank in the HKMA CBDC pilot, redefining lending protocols and reshaping the financial landscape. So we see this partnership being built upon, and it's also showing us that, listen, this is still a significant partnership. They're still expanding on it. They're still tapping into new use cases. It's so much more than just tokenization. Now we're starting to see lending protocols being changed. So this is very interesting. But also beyond this, we also seen this big announcement by Subjective Views, shout out to Subjective Views, at an HKMA BIS high-level conference. This is the BIS and the HKMA, titled The Future Monetary System. Eddie Yu, chief executive of the HKMA, discusses the challenges of cross-border payments with Deputy Governor of the RBI. This is a very big deal, considering the fact that we know that Ripple is tapped in with the HKMA, but also outside of that, Ripple is also tapped in with the BIS for the CPMI group. This is the cross-border payments market infrastructure. Like, this is actually pretty crazy to think about how connected Ripple is to all of these big moves being made and these organizations that are talking about the future monetary system. Key notes: currently we have walled gardens and platforms are not interoperable. This is also a significant thing to mention, considering the fact that everyone thought that JP Morgan is going to kill XRP because, they have JPM coin. No, it's a walled garden. Why would a small bank want to utilize JPM coin? They're already getting slaughtered in terms of market dominance. Why would they bow down to JP Morgan and say, hey, we're going to utilize your coin? No, it's a these are walled gardens that are forming. We need something that could bridge all of this. We need a platform that can be tapped in. Global standards will help alleviate this issue. CBDCs will be the main answer to overcome cross-border payment challenges. Interoperability should be a core feature. Implementation will require compromises between countries. India has started the process on a bilateral basis with Singapore's FastPay and using QR codes for countries like Bhutan and Nepal, soon to be extended to the UAE. Now, this is where things get very interesting because we know that Ripple has major ties back to India, back to their central bank as well, and even the UPI, which is another big payment initiative from India, but also even Singapore with MAS. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about this. And then, of course, Bhutan, we know that Bhutan is actually pioneering a CBDC within the Ripple platform. With, of course, the UAE, we know that Ripple recently made a lot of strides in the UAE and became a a crucial player within the UAE, even hosting Ripple Swell there. Multilateral basis of cross-border payments will still need to be discussed further. And check this out.
What we're seeing now is almost like walled gardens with platforms that's operated by different firms, and they're not interoperable. And if you really want the tokenized asset world to take off, I thought one comment that we received is that can we have some kind of industry standard so that everybody complies with that, so that all these platforms become interoperable and it becomes one big marketplace. I think that's one thing that probably we might need to think more about. But you have mentioned cross-border payment, and with blockchain technology, the use of CBDCs, and we are seeing actually a lot of promise in solving the long-standing pain of cross-border payment being too slow, too expensive. Rajeshwar, I know that India has been trying out different cross-border payment linkages with, for example, Singapore, and you are contemplating one with UAE probably. What are the issues that you see in pursuing all these cross-border payments, especially in terms of the differences in capital controls, AML, etc.? How do you resolve that? Is that a stumbling block that's really hard to overcome?
I think simplifying cross-border payments, as Ravi has also mentioned, in terms of costs, etc., I think there will be tremendous scope for using the CBDC. And it can actually simplify the intermediation and increase efficiencies, reduce the costs. Interoperability should be a core feature of this entire process. But practical implementation will require some amount of compromises between the countries concerned. And CBDC also provides us opportunity to start off in a clean slate, in the sense we can do away with the existing edifice, perhaps go ahead with a new structure which will be reflecting, which will harness the potential of CBDC in the cross-border payment space. And actually, we have started this process on a bilateral basis. In fact, with Singapore, we have the link with FastPay. You have QR code-based link usages in bordering neighboring countries like Bhutan, Nepal. We are also extending it to UAE. So at present, we have actually used more of a bilateral mechanism to process further. So it will be one-to-one country-wise, but maybe going forward in a multilateral basis, how do we do about it? I think that is something which requires a further amount of thought on.
So there you guys have it. And again, as we really kind of look at what's going on, these are the individuals that are planning this new future financial system, if you will. I know that talk is cheap. Everyone hates the idea of just talking about this new financial system because you've been hearing about it forever. And, again, when we look at XRP's trading at this or whatever, I want you guys to understand that, as we really kind of look at the space, XRP has been pioneered as a blue chip for a very long time. But also outside of that, this new financial system, it's going to take time. We're talking about a complete facelift to the global monetary system. This doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen instantly. But we've already started to see the foundation being built out. I mean, think about what has happened in the last 10 years within crypto. I mean, there's PDF files that go back to the inception of Bitcoin, essentially, where they were already planning on tapping into blockchain and DLT. Like, Bitcoin is not the first inception of this type of technology. This technology has been around. There just wasn't anything like what we see today within crypto, or even what we've seen back in 2009 and 2010. And then since then, of course, we built upon that idea with major, things like XRP, for an example, which changed the game completely. And now we're starting to discuss, this technology is serious. We can't ignore it anymore. How can we tap into it? How can we utilize it? And that's where Ripple comes into play, right? Because even going back to November of 2022, like, this was a huge announcement where we started to see stablecoins being tapped in within the XRP ledger. Global stablecoin adoption is becoming a big deal. We just seen Circle announce huge endeavors for USDC. Outside of that, the global stablecoin race is on. That's this article where we already started to see how much trading volume was happening, even though we've seen major implosions. For an example, Terra imploded. We still seen $1 trillion in monthly trading volume within stablecoins. So think about how large the stablecoin market has become, and think about how large the stablecoin market will become. The amount of demand here is very significant. But beyond this, the reason why I bring this up is because we know that the XRP ledger is being adopted for stablecoin initiatives. Even this year, we've seen the Republic of Palau continue its endeavors with the XRP ledger. And a lot of people think that this CBDC or the stablecoin initiative from Palau is actually a US CBDC because, again, Palau is mainly USD. This is a USD-backed stablecoin. So again, this is very significant. But when we really kind of look at what's going on here, it seems as though stablecoin and stablecoin regulations are a hot topic. And we know that Ripple has been at the forefront of this. We even know that the original CBDC platform, this used to only be CBDCs. But since then, this got rebranded to CBDCs and stablecoins. And we even see down here that the future of money is digital. We're going to see CBDCs, we're going to see stablecoins, we're going to see things of tokenized value. If we're talking about fragmentation, if we're talking about walled gardens, I mean, how the hell are we going to transact? How are we going to settle? How are we going to move all of this, value and all of these things of value? It's an extremely fragmented system. So how can we connect it all? How can we settle it all? Well, we need a decentralized bridge currency. A decentralized bridge currency, is the perfect answer to all of these questions. But outside of this, we see over here, shout out to blockchain tip sheet on CNBC, French Hill says stablecoin and market structure bills will get House floor vote in early 2024. NDAA efforts this year are no more. This is a big deal.
How do you handicap it by the end of this year? Is it, and which party would be the cause of it to go down in flames if it does?
Well, I don't anticipate it this year, actually. There was an effort made in the Senate to add some banking bill topics to the National Defense Authorization Bill. That didn't really go anywhere. That was a potential opening for perhaps the stablecoins legislation. But we want to go to the floor with both the stablecoin bill and the framework bill early in 2024. Okay. It'll be both the House Ag Committee and the House Financial Services Committee working on it. They'll be bipartisan, and I expect us to be successful early in 2024.
Early in 2024, and then a spot Bitcoin ETF comes right after that?
Well, look, the consumers want a Bitcoin ETF, and one of the things our bill does actually is create oversight for the spot market for Bitcoin, for the CFTC from a regulatory point of view, which has been one of the impediments to getting an ETF approved. But I think those applications are near completion at the SEC. I think it's something that will benefit institutional and individual investors.
All right.
So there you have it. And again, 2024 is shaping up to be a very large year, not just because of price action, not just because of the Bitcoin halving and stuff like that, because I still think that 2024 into 2025 is definitely going to be a very exciting time in the market price-wise. But I also think that there's a lot aligning perfectly around the regulatory side of the agenda. And I also think that this is also going to lead to, significant adoption, significant rollout of, these major solutions and tapping into these players that have experience within this space. And remember, Ripple has been at the forefront of this. It's kind of crazy to think about it, but, as we really kind of look at this space, I've always said that as all these companies are trying to play checkers, Ripple has been playing chess this entire time. Ripple is not a new company, right? Ripple has been around for well over a decade. They have made the significant connections and strides that are needed in order to become a dominant player in the space. I would say that if there is a company that is close to Amazon early in the days, and if we're talking about the future of Web3, Ripple is the closest thing to be in that Amazon of the Web3 economy. And if that's the case, and if we see this, possible future Amazon, if you will, tapping in to a digital asset like XRP for significant solutions, imagine what XRP is going to look like when we start to see mass adoption of this type of technology, when we start to see the space mature, when we start to see, the regulatory side of things alleviate it, and we actually have these utility tokens unleashed to the real world and being tapped in massively. I mean, this is what gets me very excited about the future of this space. So with that being said, if you guys do want to go take advantage of the 40% off sale, time is running out on getting a DCENT wallet for 40% off. You can utilize my link and save $50 or up to $128 off the dual pack right now. Links down in the description below as well as in the comments below. Of course, protect yourself, protect your wealth. And also, if you guys do want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the video Discord in the description below. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Peace out.